The unique geopolitical position of the United Kingdom, separated from continental Europe by a narrow strait, has always been a crucial factor in its development. The surrounding ocean not only served to protect the country from foreign invasions, but also facilitated territorial expansion, acting as a conduit for the outward ambitions of the British. In the 16th to 18th centuries, an unprecedentedly vast and powerful empire emerged, over which the sun never sets. In the 19th century, the territory of this empire was home to 500 million people, encompassing not only European and Asian lands, but also territories on other continents such as Africa, Australia, and North America. But now, in the 21st century, the British Empire no longer exists. So let's discover the reasons for losing the superpower status by the United Kingdom. Before we start, please support my channel by clicking like and subscribe buttons. English conquests began in the 13th century with the invasion of Ireland, and the establishment of overseas territories started in 1583 with the capture of Newfoundland, which became Britain's first foothold for expansion into the New World. The path to British colonization of America was paved by the defeat of the massive Spanish fleet, the Invincible Armada, in 1588, weakening the maritime power of Spain and later Portugal and transforming England into a powerful naval state. In 1607, the first English colony in North America, Virginia, was founded, and the first English settlement on the American continent, Jamestown, was established. In the 17th century, English colonies emerged along the eastern coast of North America, and New Amsterdam, captured from the Dutch, was renamed to New York. Simultaneously, invasion of India began. In 1600, a group of London merchants founded the East India Company. By 1640, it had established a network of trading posts, not only in India, but also in Southeast Asia and the Far East. In 1690, the company began building the city of Calcutta. One of the outcomes of importing English industrial goods was the devastation of several local cultural industries. For 8 centuries, from the 11th to the 19th century, the British Empire grew larger and stronger with each passing year. By the beginning of the 19th century, it was considered the most developed state. It was in the 19th century that the country solidified its political significance to a dominant level. During this time, the empire expanded its territories by annexing lands in Asia, Africa, and the Pacific region. To successfully conduct economic and political affairs, Britain strengthened its relationships with other colonies, including Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and others. The continuous conquests and colossal expansion of the empire were made possible not only through military and naval power and skilled diplomacy, but also due to the widespread belief in Britain in the benevolence of British influence for the peoples of other countries. In the broader historical context, the empire made an invaluable contribution to global development. Over time, the British came to regard their empire as a phenomenon that was eternal and enduring. However, as we know, nothing is eternal. The British Empire faced its first crisis, losing 13 colonies as a result of the North American War of Independence from 1775 to 1783. However, after the recognition of the United States' independence in 1783, tens of thousands of colonists migrated to Canada, strengthening British presence there. In the mid-19th century, migrating colonies achieved certain rights to self-governance, self-defense, and independent economic policies. Typically, these colonies attracted immigrants from various European countries. British authorities feared that the influx of foreigners might lead to internal discord, potentially causing the collapse of the British Empire. To prevent this, policymakers of the time devised projects for reforming the imperial administrative political structure. The decision was made to settle loyal citizens in white colonies, helping to preserve the empire's power. Immigrants became a kind of agents who assisted in reinstating and reproducing English customs and traditions. This temporarily slowed down the process of the state's disintegration. The 20th century was not the most successful for Britain, there were more than enough reasons for it. Firstly, political instability arose in the country as the ruling elite, namely the conservatives, divided their opinions in solving the most significant problems in the state. A split occurred within the party. Liberals took advantage of this situation and attempted to take control. However, they too could not address the empire's most important issues. Secondly, starting from the late 19th century, tension arose in the relations between the world's leading countries, Britain, Germany, and France. Britain and France were two developed states that sought to conquer the world through colonial expansion. Relations between Britain and Germany were much more complicated. Both countries sought to capture territories in Africa, leading to intense naval arms races. This issue became crucial for the British government, pushing other problems automatically to the background. Over time, the conflict between the two countries escalated. Due to economic instability and an unfavorable military strategic position, Britain could no longer resist Germany alone, leading it to join the Entente military bloc, Britain, France, Russia. As a result of First World War, Britain eventually prevailed over Germany and gained control of many German colonies. However, all of this inflicted noticeable damage to the country. Thirdly, the country entered an era of Great Depression. This manifested in the crisis of industries such as manufacturing, agriculture, finance, and trade. In short, the country's economy slowly began to decline. Business owners devoted less time to the development and improvement of industrial production in Britain, as their main income came from capital exports. The technical equipment of the industry became outdated, and the products gradually lost competitiveness. These events were reflected in the population, rising unemployment, societal dissatisfaction, and consequently growing labor strikes. Fourthly, revolutionary movements against British rule unfolded in colonial countries. Soon after the revolution in Russia in 1917, populations in countries like India, Egypt, Iran, and Afghanistan initiated a powerful national liberation upsurge. Many nations united to inflict significant damage on the British colonial state. The evident disintegration of the British Empire occurred after the Second World War. The war had stripped Britain of virtually all its foreign financial resources, and the country had built up sterling credits, debts owed to other countries that would have to be paid in foreign currencies, amounting to several billion pounds. Moreover, the economy was in disarray. Some industries, such as aircraft manufacture, were far larger than was now needed, while others, such as railways and coal mines, were desperately short of new equipment and in bad repair. With nothing to export, Britain had no way to pay for imports or even for food. To make matters worse, on September 2, 1945, U.S. President Harry Truman, as he was required to do by law, ended Lend-Lease, upon which Britain had depended for its necessities as well as its arms. John Maynard Keynes, as his last service to Great Britain, had to negotiate a $3.75 billion loan from the United States and a smaller one from Canada. In international terms, Britain was bankrupt. In the immediate post-war years, numerous attempts were made to preserve the British Empire through maneuvering and colonial wars in Malaya, Kenya, and other countries, but all of them failed. In 1947, Britain was compelled to grant independence to its largest colonial possession, India. The country was divided along regional lines into two parts, India and Pakistan. Independence was declared by Transjordan, Burma, and Ceylon. In 1947, the UN General Assembly decided to end the British mandate in Palestine and create two states on its territory, a Jewish state and an Arab state. In 1956, Sudan declared independence, and in 1957, Malaya did the same. The first of the British possessions in tropical Africa to become an independent state was the Gold Coast in 1957, adopting the name Ghana. In 1960, British Prime Minister Harold Macmillan, in a speech in Cape Town, essentially acknowledged the inevitability of further anti-colonial achievements, referring to it as the winds of change. Finally, the transfer of Hong Kong to China in 1997 was viewed by experts as the conclusive conclusion of the British Empire. Nevertheless, in the 21st century, the United Kingdom has maintained significant global soft power, including a robust military. The UK still holds a permanent seat on the UN Security Council, alongside only 4 other nations, and remains one of the 9 nuclear powers. London, its capital city, continues to be recognized as one of the world's foremost cities. In 2022, the United Kingdom was ranked as the leading European country in terms of soft power by Brand Finance. However, economists suggest that more recent economic challenges since the 2010s, exacerbated by Brexit, a cost of living crisis, political instabilities, and industrial disputes and strikes, may have inflicted additional enduring damage and erosion to Britain's residual influence. That's it for today. Thanks for your time. Please do not forget to support my channel by clicking like and subscribe buttons.